Vince, my dear. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you today?
Well, I'm mad.
Well, I can tell. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting here at this lovely radio station.
Lovely.
I walk in the door
Lovely.
and see my new album sitting on the turntable.
Zoot
And I
Allure is
see
available on Warner Brothers Records.
Great.
It's coming out of your right
big
channel.
piece of white paper pasted on cuts number 2 and 3,
Lord
side
almighty.
1 of the album, indicating that for some reason an instrumental entitled Black Napkins and another song of 9 minutes duration entitled
9:52.
The Torture Never Stops has been censored out of the album. Now, I wonder, what is it about this radio station that wants to censor an instrumental cut off of the album?
Well, I can't answer that question, I'm afraid.
Well, who is it there that makes decisions like this?
Well, it would be the music director of the radio station. If
I
he's-
just find it fascinating.
Well, if he's listening to the interview, which he may or may not be, he might come in here and explain.
Yeah, I'd love to find out why that instrumental was censored off the album.
Huh?
Fascinating.
You know what I forgot to do?
What did you forget to do?
Start the tape.
Oh, you better do that.
Just a sec.
Why don't you just play Ms. Pinky while you start the tape?
You think I should?
Sure.
to talk to you first. Here I am.
Hey, the man with the sticker.
How are you?
Okay.
I gotta tell you why.
Okay,
Why?
this is Benji Karsh. who
Here's
just
the
edited it.
reason why. That is eventually going on a tape, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The 9-minute cut. Nothing wrong with the instrumental.
Yeah.
It's just that the 9-minute cut is hard to get into.
Well, why is it hard to get into?
Unless we put it into nighttime.
Well, what's that got to do with putting a white sticker on there? You know?
Keep talking, Benji.
Just remember when...
No, listen, seriously.
What?
You have to remember.
Yeah.
As I said, the instrumental, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just linked into the 9-minute cut.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with the 9-minute cut?
There is nothing wrong with it in my mind.
Well, in whose mind is there something wrong with that 9-minute cut? It's getting great airplay in the United States. And
This
you know,
ain't the
and
States,
you know
man.
how reactionary they are.
They're pretty reactionary.
Yeah, really. They're far more reactionary than Canadian radio, I found. And I thought that a lot of things that I've had on my albums were played quite often in Canada that didn't get played in the United States. What is there about a song called The Torture Never Stops that disturbs somebody here?
Doesn't disturb me.
Who? Who is the culprit? Who's doing this
We
to me?
will not go into that. I'll explain to you later, okay?
It's somebody in a high government place, right?
Man, there's got to be a great mind somewhere that nobody...
Pierre doesn't like it, right?
Well, he hasn't actually listened to it yet. He hasn't had a chance.
You sure?
Well,
Who made you put that sticker on there? I know that you're a nice guy. You wouldn't
Do I
do
look
it.
like a nice guy?
Everybody looks like a nice guy at a radio station. You know that. Who made you put that sticker on there, and why are you doing this to a helpless artist from the United States of America? Just trying to bring good music to the Canadian
I'm going
people.
to tell you something else as well. We were in the process of discussing the record, okay?
Uh-huh.
We haven't gotten around to it.
Zoot Allure
When we
by Warner
discuss
Brothers.
Yeah.
When we discuss it, and that time is coming next week. It can't be
yeah.
this week, okay?
Yeah, I
It can't be this week. The higher-ups are out of town, okay? When it comes to next week, we'll discuss it. And if you want, you can call me, and I'll tell you what happened.
You know I will call you. You know I will.
I want you to call me.
I will call you.
But I'm going to tell you,
Is that sticker
as
on
far
there?
as instrumental goes, there's nothing wrong with it.
Thank you. Thank
Okay?
you.
It's a good. I have.
It's a wonderful instrument. It's a nice instrumental.
Don't you think we've created a lot of interest for the public?
What is it on cut number 3, side 1 of the Zoot Allures album that makes it impossible for CHUM-FM to play it?
Frank, you might have turned
Torture.
us on to some new sort
Torture.
of contest and a higher level of audience involvement that
Make
would...
people guess what's on the records you don't play?
You shouldn't. You know what? You shouldn't make me run in like
Really?
You're going to get a lot of letters.
My
What?
breath.
Shouldn't make
You're
me-
wearing my favorite sweater, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
He's
sitting
trying
here
to
wearing
change
a
the
Toronto
subject.
Maple Leaf shirt, but that's got nothing to do with the white sticker on my album. Let me tell you what this reminds me of. I went to, you've heard of San Francisco, a supposedly sophisticated area?
Yes.
I went to the big FM station there, you know,
Okay.
with all really, far out hippies and everything working there, you know.
The blue sticker.
Oh,
What color
it
was
was
it?
worse. They have a bin of complete albums that they don't play. I went in and I saw that they're going to interview me on the air and they're going to play some of my records. They only had 2 or 3 of them that they were allowed to play because this young girl, had been the program director choosing what was going to go on the air. And she had taken a bunch of my records and stuck them in this bin that says death, doom, do not touch, X's and chains and time bombs all over these records.
Why are they in there in the first place?
Yeah, well, I looked, and two of the ones that were in there were instrumentals. One of them was the Hot Rats album, and the other one was the Grand Wazoo. I said, is there something objectionable about the language on these records? She said, oh, yeah, well, I listen to them, and they're dirty, and we can't play them. I said, oh, yeah? Well, these are instrumental albums. She goes, oh. I said, now you take those records out of that bin and listen to them and find out what's on them before you stick them in there. She says, to tell you the truth, I never listened to them. They just came in the mail, and I stuck them in the bin because they were your records. And when I walk in here and see that on my record, I get really mad because I spent a lot of time making these records, and I like what I do, and I like what I put on the records, and I think there are other people who like what's on those records, and I think you ought to play them.
I agree with you.
Now, what are you going to do about it?
We'll pause while people listening at home clap and go, right on!
Why don't you just play Ms. Pinky?
Could I, just in defense now. I'm not talking in defense of CHUM-FM, but in defense of radio in general these days.
Yeah.
Would
you agree with me that sometimes it's getting to the point now where it's difficult to play everything on an album? Do you think everything on an album is good?
I think that instead of formatting yourself to death, what you ought to do is rotate cuts on an album.
Hey,
See
I
what
agree with you,
happens
but
on
that's,
most...
look, Frank, seriously, in all honesty, that's what used to happen back in 69 and 70. But hey, this is something that we've got to live with. And as you know, radio in the States is tightening up more and more as the months go.
It's not looking too good in Canada either.
This is what's happening.
I understand the business involved in it. The only thing a radio station really cares about is ratings, which in turn jack up the value of the airtime that they charge for people who are buying commercial spots on the air. The more people who listen to a station, the more they can charge for the time that the commercial people want to buy. Okay, that's the way the business works. However, it's a subterfuge, to have to do this using music. People make music because it's an artistic expression. Some of them do anyway, all right? And the radio station is playing certain types of music in order to boost their ratings. And so consequently, they're always tempted to take the easy way out and to just format everything, stick the whole day's worth of programming on cartridges and just, let it rip.
Hold it. It's a far cry between AM formats and FM formats.
I've seen FM formats in the United States.
You've seen. Okay. I agree with you, but this circumstance certainly doesn't...
So you haven't put your whole day on carts yet, but give it another couple of years. As the ratings wars go on, you have to worry about who's selling what and who's doing what to whom. I don't like to get stuck in the middle of that stuff. And
you're stuck in the middle of it, man. You got to make... What happened?
I'm sitting right in the middle of it right now. I was saying I don't enjoy it. And I think that it's difficult for kids listening to the radio to understand what radio's really all about. They listen to radio like it's their little friend is in their car, and it's all nice. But it's a grubby business. And people who make records and want to have those records on the radio have to eventually come face to face with things like white stickers on albums. And if you wink your eye and ignore it and walk away, there's going to be 2 more stickers on the next album. And it seems... My albums seem to be very good candidates for white stickers and things of that nature. I don't think that too many other artists have as many white stickers to their credit as I do.
I would have to agree with that. But you would also have to admit that you are, by the type of music you produce, not necessarily the most universally appealable artist either. True or false?
No, I am universally appealable because the things I say relate directly to the public at large.
Okay.
I think you'd be pushing the point to say that body functions described in various of my texts do not exist in the general public, and people who are not prepared to listen to or discuss these body functions need some help. And I'm here to help. And you can help, too, by playing these records so that people can confront their problems,
Well, can't force it down people's throats.
No,
you certainly can't.
No, you're not forcing it down people's throats.
Time may force it down people's throats.
If you give somebody the opportunity to have a choice, just give them a choice. Give them a choice between format poop and maybe something else to listen to every once in a while. I'm not saying you should take the sticker off and play that 24 hours a day, but stickers don't belong in a free society.
Okay. I agree. They don't belong in a... But, the society out there is certain... Look at what people are listening to.
They're listening to things that they enjoy to hear. How do you know there aren't 100,000 people right now that would love to hear what's under that sticker?
That is one specific point. What's under that sticker on a larger, more...
But you say, well, look at what people are listening to.
Why are the radio stations, the progressive radio stations, still in a minority of listenership? Or not progressive, the album-oriented rock, and the middle-of-the-road, syrupy dentist chair-oriented radio stations still have the highest ratings? Why is that? You just said yourself people listen to what they enjoy.
Yeah, right.
Well, if they're never going to expose themselves to it, what good is it? What good is it that a progressive or an album-oriented rock radio station, which this is, which has to survive financially, it has to survive in the marketplace that we're all subjected to, and so do you. You have to sell so many LPs. You have to be able to set concert bowl attendance records, as you did last night, congratulations, and eventually have albums like Overnight Sensation go gold. All those things are realities. They're all realities.
Right.
Now, why are people listening to those other radio stations? In a majority.
Okay, for one thing, the majority of machinery for the reception of those airwaves is AM.
Ah, come on.
That's true.
Come on.
True.
FM penetration is almost 85 or 90% in all of North America.
What do you mean FM penetration? I'm talking about people having receivers in their homes.
Yes. FM is that statistically that high in all of North America. So don't tell me that people can only get AM.
It's not that they can only get it, but that's what comes stock in your car. And that's one of the things that people are most concerned about is that drive time hour.
Okay, but they've got a lot of leisure time on their hands, and they still will listen to
if they're home,
the beautiful music FM stations at home.
Yeah, but wait a minute. The most important
You haven't done your homework, Frank.
Take
the Bureau of Broadcast Measurement, or what is it in the States? ARB, American Rating Bureau, and just find out what FM audience penetration is like. And it's pretty high. It's high to the point of where AM radio stations are worried about it.
But those are false statistics.
No, they aren't.
Yeah, they are, because you're talking about those nice soft FM stations that broadcast into a dentist office,
Frank,
okay?
this is
and
a
if the
broken
dentist can
record
turn on
argument.
that station instead of paying for a service from Muzak, then that accounts for a large percentage of your FM penetration.
Ah, that's not true.
Yeah, it is.
Talk about people at home.
I'm talking about
and
people
what
who have boutiques and put it, stick a little FM in the corner instead of getting it from Muzak.
Okay, but if not the majority of people own boutiques or have dentist office. I mean, talk about what they listen to at home.
About the statistics are bloated by the people who have those kind of music services in their facility.
I don't agree with it. I used to be of that frame of mind, but I don't agree anymore. I used to think that radio stations
because you went around and looked and saw how people listen to FM or how they use those particular airwaves?
No. I happen to believe that the sample system taken for
in favor of those kind of soft radio stations are altered by the number of businesses that use it, and that's not a record-buying, record-listening market. That's a wallpaper market.
Okay, it's a wallpaper market. But still, if FM was as album-oriented rock was the answer to what the majority of people wanted to listen to, it would be there, regardless of the, as you claim, trumped up or bloated statistics, which they are not. They are not.
Well, I guess I'm wrong. I'll just have to sit here and lump it that there's a white sticker on my record.
Man, there's a white sticker on your record. but those other things that you're talking about definitely are not true. They're definitely not true. And, if you leave an address, we'll provide you with the information. That so far has to be believed. I mean, you sell...
Why does it have to be believed?
By the same criteria that you go under having sold so many records. You don't believe that? You don't believe that Overnight Sensation went gold?
I believe that any record company needs to get audited. And I think that somebody provides me with a set of numbers, I don't take them for granted.
Do you believe or not that your records do sell a certain number of copies?
I believe that they sell a certain number of copies. The number of copies remains to be determined by an auditor.
Okay.
You see, that's the way, you've got to check some of these things that come in. You can't use record computer printouts from a company like Warner Brothers as a gauge to whether or not somebody's telling you the truth, and neither can you use those statistics that you're quoting. Because I'll tell you one example of a FCC case in Phoenix, Arizona, where somebody at this one particular radio station made a complaint against the radio station.
An employee, you mean, or?
No, it was a listener complained against the radio station.
Okay.
And here's what the situation was. This is an FM station, and they played Brown Shoes Don't Make It. And somebody who had a beauty salon who regularly had this particular station turned on as background music to her beauty salon complained to the FCC that this station was playing material unsuitable for her customers. And the guy at the station says, What are we going to do? We got to fight this because we are not providing a Muzak service for the businesses in this area.
Was the complaint taken as a legitimate one by the FCC?
Well, I don't know how FCC registers a complaint that comes in. You know,
Well, they've got to receive it.
They've got to receive it, but whether or not they act on it is another thing. But this is what the DJ told me when I was doing an interview down there. If somebody from a business like a beauty salon or something like that plays FM music in their place can complain to the station and force that station to modify their content to suit their customers, then what have we got?
Well,
you know,
an isolated example for starters, and a not very credible one if the regulatory body would take that as a legitimate complaint. Anyway, got some commercials to go. We'll be right back. Zappa is with us this afternoon. Hi, Frank.
Hi, how you doing? Now, this man said that he was going to tell me why, he was at last going to give the truth of why the sticker is on the record.
No, I was going to tell you why again.
All right, tell me. Oh, all right.
You want to get into it. I've already told you.
Oh, yeah. Somebody made you do it.
No. I've told you why.
All right.
I will tell you once again. When I first
For those of you who missed this.
Right, when I first listened to that, it was, in my mind, that's part of that was objectionable.
And
for whatever reason.
Give me a ground of objectionality.
All right, there's a part in there where you have a woman moaning herself
Tape is holding it together.
into whatever hysterics you wish to call it. Anyway, the point being, it was
and that's
No, hold on. It was, in my mind, I said, there is a question about this record I wish to discuss with the people that we have music meetings with. And at that time, we just haven't been, at that time, there wasn't any time for it. And I said, when there is time, I will bring this up again. But I told you, the instrumental, there is nothing wrong with that. I love the instrumentals, right?
Sure.
But that cut
with the girl's voice moaning and grunting on it was doing something to you, right?
Whatever it is, and for the length of time involved, I just figured at that time it would be better to leave it alone, and if we come back to it later on,
that just goes to show you, if you actually have this record in your home, ladies and gentlemen, there's no telling what will happen when you hear cut number 3, side 1.
In your home is one thing. I'm going to tell you something. There are people who like disco music, okay?
That's right.
At home or in a club, it's one thing.
We're giving
on this
away
radio
free
station,
stickers.
forget it. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
He wants to talk to you. Go. You want to talk to
Can we talk to Frank here?
Go ahead and talk to Frank.
You're just about to play a song called Ms. Pinky on this album.
I'm not.
You have it queued up.
It is queued. It is queued.
Well, I was just going to ask you some questions about Ms. Pinky. Have you listened to it?
Yes, I've listened to Ms. Pinky.
Okay, do you know what Ms. Pinky is about?
We're going to find out, aren't we?
That's right.
Well, okay.
After you play it.
Is that band group last night performed record wonderful? We talk first that.
Yeah, play it.
No. Well, we're
afraid to play Miss Pinky
now.
now.
It's ready to go.
Pinky doesn't even have a sticker on it, and you're afraid to play it because you don't really know what it's about.
You don't want to talk about the band, first of all.
That's right. But I mean, if you can take the sound of somebody not even saying any words and find it objectionable, and then go, I can't stand that noise, you know.
Tell us about the band that you've put together for Zoot Allures, your new album here on Warner Brothers, available at record stores without stickers.
They're nice, cute people that play good.
And they haven't been involved in any other sort of enterprise up until this point?
No, the drummer, Terry Bozzio, has been with me for about 2 years.
And the rest of the people?
Patrick O'Hearn comes to us from the jazz world. Eddie Jobson comes to us from the world of glam rock via Roxy Music. And Ray White, who's on rhythm guitar and is not pictured on the album cover because he joined later, is from the world of funk.
The world of funk. Tell me, Frank, why, what brought you to put together a new band for Zoot Allures, and what happened to the rest of the people, and why, and where, and how, and...
Well, it's been practically a new band every year.
Right.
I like variety.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the audience does too, because they never know what to expect when we come to town.
Right.
And the other people, like Napoleon, for instance, has his own group. He's working in Lake Tahoe. George Duca's working with Billy Cobham. Tom Fowler is working with Jean-Luc Ponty. Bruce Fowler and Walt Fowler are working with Flo and Eddie. And Ruth Underwood is getting a divorce from Ian Underwood, who is learning how to play tennis.
And that's it.
Ask me anybody that's been in the band for the last 12 years.
And
I'll tell you where they are.
Are you cool with Flo and Eddie now?
They're going to open for us at Cobo Hall in Detroit.
Isn't love wonderful?
Well, I don't know whether love is wonderful.
But, okay, we're going to play this selection here from Frank's new LP. And it's called Zoot Allures. Ms. Pinky is the name of the track. Frank Zappa from CHUM-FM. Frank Zappa from Zoot Allures. His new LP, Ms. Pinky. I think that's fairly explicit. Frank, how about yourself?
Ms. Pinky?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though.
What?
you can explain to the people in person what this record's about.
Okay, there's a device that's advertised in a Finnish pornographic
and
magazine.
we'll tell you how you can, how you can get to do that is tonight. Well, you know, you have to allow me one radio smoothie, don't you?
One radio smoothie per hour.
Here we go. Tonight, Frank will be down at Records on Wheels, 629 Yonge Street, just a few blocks north of Wellesley. To what?
To sign autographs
And explain
for anybody.
to people
I ain't
what...
gonna have any time to explain it to him down there. I don't have a microphone and stuff, but if you want to get a record sign, the whole band will be down there
The whole
with little
band.
pins in their hand.
Now-
Vito will be scurrying around, you know,
Well,
getting excited.
Vito phoned me to tell the people that everybody will be able to have a chat with you and just say hello and that. And what he doesn't want is a lot of people in a big mob scene and everybody going crazy. So just take it on faith that you will sooner or later get to meet Frank and have your album signed. Zoot Allures. Do they have to buy that one or anyone? Can they bring them from home or what?
They can bring them from home probably if they're obviously packaged so that there's no confusion at the store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and...
'Cause that could lead to some problems.
Right. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Benji's going to supply you with a brand new, unopened, autographed package of white stickers. The cosmic sticker world, and you think, Frank?
I know.
You know, if you hadn't linked that in so tight, it would have been only over one cut.
Leave that alone. Leave that alone, please.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what else do we have to talk about?
Oh, let's see. How about this funny story from a radio station in Baltimore, Maryland?
Why don't you want to talk about your band and how successful things are being for you right now?
Because nobody cares about that stuff.
Sure they do. They
They'd
do.
rather hear about this station in Baltimore, Maryland with you were talking about what you could actually play on the air if you only went by the phone calls that you received, that you could play Stairway to Heaven
38 times a day.
Right.
For sure.
This guy that I just talked to about 10 days ago down there said that he was in the process of playing Dynamo Hum on the radio. And this guy calls up all downed out. He says, "Hey, man, why don't you guys ever play Dynamo Hum?"
On
You
the
know,
radio.
and it's on, you know, and he was listening to the station and didn't even know what he was listening to.
Well, I think that people do find themselves in that position. Anyway, congratulations on your Concert Bowl record that you set last night. 10,500 people, I believe it was.
That's if you count the tickets.
What if you don't count the tickets?
I don't know how many were in there if you don't count the tickets.
Okay, it was a good concert.
It was a good crowd.
It was a milestone for the Concert Bowl in Toronto. And when are you going to be back again?
Maybe next year.
Okay. And Zoot Allures will take you for how long? What's your next project in mind?
Well, I have several albums that are completed and unreleased. One of them is an orchestra album that I recorded last September.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also discussing the fact that later in this tour, which is a round the world tour and finishes off in March, when we get to Japan, we're talking about the possibility of doing some more orchestra recording over there as part of the tour.
Any stage or movie or music company-oriented endeavors, fantasies that you've got?
We're also working on a plan for a Christmas show of about a week's duration in New York City at what used to be called the Academy of Music, and it's now called the Palladium.
The whole show takes a week?
Well, we're going to run it every night for
okay.
a week between Christmas and New Year's, something like that.
What will that consist of?
The band plus some extra unusual added attractions. We're talking about bringing Flo and Eddie in maybe in like a theater orchestra and various other oddities. I've been trying to locate a group called the Shags. You ever heard of them?
No.
You got to check them out.
That's just bad.
These three girls that made a record in 1968 or 69. It was paid for by their father. The name of the album is Philosophy of the World by the Shags, and it has these three girls on the front. One plays drums. It's a snare drum, a floor tom, and a cymbal, and two other girls who play guitar that they never tune. And they have music that is beyond Captain Beefheart.
I bet you they bring their own stickers.
Oh, I bet they do. One 12-inch sticker for the whole album.
Right across.
But I'm going to try and find the Shags and get them down there. And we've also discussed things like the Bora Minovich Harmonica Rascals playing Son of Mr. Green Jeans and things like that.
That should be fun.
Yeah, you know, it's just a wholesome family show.
Wholesome, Christmas-oriented family show. Well, I'm sure. Frank Zappa tonight at Record. What time are you supposed to be down there?
I'll be there at 7.
Okay, 7 o'clock, Records on Wheels and autographs for Frank Zappa fans. And Zoodaloo's the LP once again. Thank you for taking the time, dropping by.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Stirring it up as usual. We'll look forward to the next encounter. This is CHUM-FM.